downed in Kuwait. The 3 US jets that were downed in Kuwait, F-15s, were in fact done accidentally in friendly fire by the Kuwaitis themselves. Remember, Iran had come out and claimed yesterday that actually it was them, and this claim and counterclaim is going to go on. This is all fog of war. But as far as I can see, the updates that we have is that the 3 US fighter jets that have went down yesterday were indeed because of the Kuwaitis themselves. You want to add a little bit more on this? Exactly what more are we learning?
Yeah, Fox News has confirmed just now that Kuwaiti fighter jets accidentally shot down 3 US F-15 aircraft during a chaotic response to Iranian drone attacks earlier this week only. So as we know, 3 US F-15 jets were shot down, and Kuwaiti forces said that it was just a friendly fire. And we also saw that the US pilot was also treated afterwards.
Yes, we did see those visuals where there were the first visual that came of the F-15 going down, one pilot parachuting and then being put in the boot of a car and being taken care of had come out. And then we also had visuals of a female pilot of the Americans who had also parachuted down, was actually confronted by one of the locals and told that she was safe. And we've seen reactions on ground in Kuwait, at least on social media. The suggestions are that when the Kuwaitis are finding these American pilots, initially when they're feeling that these are Iraqi pilots, they're very hostile. But when they realize that these are American pilots, they become much more friendly. So the big update here, though, is that while there was a claim by Iran that they're the ones who shot down these fighter jets, it's actually not the case. Both Kuwait and now independently a news media organization is confirming that it was indeed friendly fire. Now, this is important because in any war, there's going to be a narrative war as well. There's going to be, both sides claiming that they managed to do certain things or they did not manage to do certain things. So here, if Iraq was to down a few American fighter jets, it would obviously be some sort of a brownie point or some sort of a bragging right in this chaotic war. But more and more confirmations coming in that it was indeed Kuwaiti's air defense that shot down those jets mistakenly. Lots happening as far as the Gulf is concerned. Clearly, a lot of these Gulf countries have been ill-prepared to take on the response that has come in from Iran. And why is this happening? The best estimate that anybody has right now is that once the leadership was wiped out, all the commands of the IRGC are running independently. They possibly knew that something like this could happen, and they've just gone on and just done their thing. They're not really waiting for any instructions or any strategy anymore. It seems all independent units are on their own. In other terms, they could be rogue. Major General Sanjay Meston continues to be with us. I'm also joined by Ashok Sajjanhar, former diplomat. Major General, I come to you first up. Now, at least an American news outlet confirming that those F-15s were indeed downed by Kuwaiti air defense. Could you give us an idea what could have happened that something like this transpires, that 3 American jets are downed in Kuwaiti airspace in friendly fire?
Shivani, good morning. Firstly, I would like to highlight that since Second World War, and even when I was in Afghanistan, I recollect, and even if this is an open source, Americans have suffered almost 20% casualties in friendly fire. So therefore, in warfare, it firstly clearly reflects that this is a phenomena all over the world. And even as a soldier, I can state that this happens in case things are not well coordinated. And in this case, what has happened, that since the US CENTCOM is overall responsibility for the area, also in the area, basically the Kuwaiti troops were deployed. So I think it reflects poorly of the coordination between the US CENTCOM and all the Gulf forces deployed there. Now, in this case, it is the Kuwaiti forces. Now, what could have happened is, these aircrafts, obviously, why they were taking off. Number one, they were not going for a sortie because they were F-15 aircraft. They were just patrolling the Kuwaiti air skies because the drone threats and the missile threats. So this is one, these must be air defense aircraft. So they were patrolling the Kuwaiti airspace to just see that, they can take on any incoming drones, oblique aircraft, or even missiles. Now, what has happened is that perhaps the Kuwaiti forces deployed on ground have used their aircrafts, that is not the aircraft, that is their SAM systems and surface to air missiles, whatever they would be having, whether it is Patriot system, because these are all been handed over by the US. So probably it has happened that there has been a problem in IFF, that is identification friend foe, And apparently, since Kuwait borders Iran also, Iraq, and they would have perhaps felt that it is the Iraqi pilots who have flown in, and therefore they have shot them down. So this clearly reflects that I think the responsibility where the US CENTCOM, it's a huge command, and they are even responsible for areas up to Afghanistan and Pakistan. So coordination on ground is what perhaps has been a failure, and that is why this cause. See, loss of aircraft causes an embarrassment, and definitely it is an embarrassment. Though all the pilots have successfully ejected because they would have realized they have been hit, and we have seen some visuals. So it is just reflecting coordination, and of course, the percentage says that since Second World War till date in all the wars, US has suffered about 20% casualties in friendly fire, Shivani.
Ashok Sajjanhar, with you, I want to understand exactly what are the liabilities on an American government, let's say this Trump administration, before launching a war. Now they're actually very interestingly even calling it a strategic military operation and not a war. And it reminded us all of Operation Sindoor because that was called a military operation and not a war. But the phrasing apart, there are questions mounting on Donald Trump and his government whether they needed to have taken some permissions of the Congress before launching this.
Yeah, thank you very much, Shivani, for having me on your show. You're very right. One, there are certain international obligations that you were just discussing before you came, to your guests. There are international obligations that a country has to fulfill before they can engage in an armed conflict with any hostile power. And then there are domestic obligations. So, internationally, we know that Article 2 of the United Nations Charter says very clearly that either you are under attack or there is an imminent threat of attack on you, only then you can act in self-defense. So you have to seek the permission of the UN Security Council, United Nations, before you engage in any military operation, military conflict of that nature. So going to war in that context. And you would remember that till now, although even as far as the Russia-Ukraine conflict has been going on for more than 4 years now, but still it is designated as a special military operation because this is the semantics that countries would tend to resort to because there are certain obligations both domestically and internationally when you engage in a war in an armed conflict. As far as the domestic obligations are concerned, requirements are concerned in the United States, it again has to go to Congress if it is launching a war against any adversary, against any hostile power. And that the United States has not done. And this is what, will be taken up by the Congress, that this is a power that does not reside with the White House, it doesn't reside with the presidency. And the President Trump.
Sir, just hold your thought. We got some more updates coming in now. ASEAN foreign ministers have expressed serious